Hello fellow human light beings, welcome back to the channel. This is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard. This is the solar flash update for January 16th, 2024. So there is a comet that is going to be coming very close to Earth, which will happen in April, at the end of April. And it's called the Devil Comet. We're also going to have a solar eclipse that is going to happen in the beginning of April, and many people believe you'll be able to see the comet at the time of the eclipse. And I was told in meditation months ago, before I even knew either of these things, to look out for a comet in the sky, that would be the beginning. So let's talk about that. Hello and welcome back again. This is Mahadeva. So this devil comet, maybe you've seen pictures of it. The reason why they call it a devil comet is because it has what looks like a horn or horns coming out the top. It's also called the what the hell is the name of that spaceship in Star Wars? I forgot the name of it. It's also it's called the Millennium Falcon, because it sort of looks like the Millennium Falcon. So, as I said, I don't know how long ago it was. I want to say 3 months ago. Could have been more than that. But I was in meditation and I was communicating with higher dimensional beings, and they were telling me that things were going to get intense on planet Earth and everything was going to change. And they said, keep your eyes open for the comet. When the comet appears in the sky, then that's when everything's going to happen. So in case you want to know why the eclipse is so important as well, in case I haven't already told you. Whoops. So we had an eclipse on October 14th, and it passed over the western United States, and it went right over Texas, Dallas, Texas. So on April 8th, there's going to be another total solar eclipse, and that also is going to pass right over Texas. So when you have two eclipses like this that come together in this way, it usually has some pretty powerful effects in terms of awareness, and of course where the eclipses are has a huge effect on that region and what all those things mean. So as I've said before, Dallas, Texas is of course a bastion of American independence. This is really where you really see the strongest attitude of American revolutionary independence. Independence, in case you didn't know this, the reason why America in 1776 revolted against Britain, we say it's because taxation without representation. And we don't really know what the hell that means. Most people don't. But what was really happening was that the colonies wanted to use their own currency. And so many of the different colonies had their own paper currency that they were using. And the British government wanted to have one central banking currency. And so they wiped out. They just said, you can't use that. Your money's no good. You have to use our currency. And this is exactly what is happening now. This is what the United States, which ironically revolted because of this, is trying to institute digital, centralized banking. And it's not even currency anymore. It's just digital. It just means it's just ones and zeros in a software program. and they want to be able to continue. I mean, they're going to get rid of paper cash. They're going to get rid of all kinds of things, gold, everything else. They're going to get rid of all of that. That's their plan. This is exactly why the United States or the colonies rebelled against Britain. They didn't want to have a centralized bank and a centralized currency. And that's what, the whole Tea Party, Boston Tea Party thing was all about. And that's what taxation without representation, that's what they're really talking about. So I find it important because Texas, as you know, was its own country for a while. It wasn't part of the United States. It was originally its own, the Lone Star State. It was its own country when it rebelled against Mexico. And so the point being is that there's still a lot of that mindset there. The other thing I find really interesting about Dallas, Texas, is that is where President Kennedy was assassinated. And he was assassinated, in case you want to know, I can tell you exactly why he was assassinated. He was assassinated because he had plans to reveal to the world the deep state military space program. Human beings have had the ability and have been creating anti-gravitational technology, zero-point energy technology. And so, in case you didn't know, it's annoying for me to listen to people talk about Tic Tacs and other things and, the Miami alien, whatever, because probably about 85 to 90% of all of the UFOs that are seen and filmed and reported on, those are human-made. Humans have had this ability for a long time. There is a space program, deep state space interests are already flying out to the edge of our solar system, and they already have the ability to go faster than the speed of light. They already have the ability to communicate faster than the speed of light. This is part of what's going on in Antarctica. And by the way, if you don't believe me, I don't blame you. You should never just take anything anybody says at face value. If you want to know what all of this stuff is, then I recommend that you go to Dr. Stephen Greer's YouTube channel page and click on the June 12th press club event. You will hear from actual whistleblowers, not the deep state plants, which is, the Jeremy Corbell, David Grush, all of those people that you see all over the news. By the way, anything that's on the news, if it's on mainstream news, even Fox News, anything you see on the news is something that you are intended to view. They want you to view that. And so it's amazing to me that people who know about this still want to talk about David Grush and how he's exposing the governmental cover-up. He's not exposing anything. He is part of the plan to bamboozle all of you and make you think that ETs are coming to destroy you. It's the whole plan behind that. If you want to see the real whistleblowers, go and look at Dr. Greer's press club event, and you'll hear what's really going on under the surface. Anyway, back to why this is important. If you look at the two eclipses there, they're going right over the place where Kennedy was assassinated, and he was assassinated because he was going to reveal this to the world. That's the same reason why his brother was assassinated. He was going to do the same thing. And it's the same reason why Marilyn Monroe was assassinated, because she knew about this, because she was having an affair with both of those guys, and they discarded her, and she was going to go to Dorothy Kilgallen, who was a reporter who magically also died. She was assassinated. They were all killed for the same reason. They were going to reveal the most powerful secret that the deep state has, which is that they have zero-point energy. There's no need for petroleum. There's no need for coal, gas, There's no need for us to buy energy from anybody anywhere. And there's, we have the technology to solve all the problems, hunger problems, all the third world problems can be solved. But there's no money in it. So what I believe is going to happen is, as this second eclipse goes over Texas, what you're going to see is a release of that mindset of freedom. And you're going to see perhaps a greater revelation in terms of what the elites have been doing, and the awareness that there really is this deep state global cabal. What's interesting is if you watch movies and television, they're telling you that this is happening. Just to give you an example, if you're watching Apple TV, there's what the heck is it called? Anyway, there's a I can't think when I'm doing this talking. I've never been able to do that. I can never think of names. But anyway, there's an Apple TV series about giant monsters like Godzilla. And they are very clear. There's this secret, global, worldwide organization that has been tracking and trying to prevent Godzilla and other monsters from destroying the Earth. And in the most latest one that I saw, they come out to the public and they say, we're here, we are a global, worldwide organization, we're here to protect you, all of that kind of nonsense. And if you pay attention, Hollywood is telling you who they are. They're telling you what's underneath what you've been told and what you've seen. So I don't know what is going to happen. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a psychic. I'm just an average human being, just like you. I made the attempt a year and a half ago to contact higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings, and I kept trying until I was successful. And I was able to communicate with a being that was able to jolt me and crack open my awareness so that I was able to continue to have higher dimensional experiences with everything out there. And what is, when people start to see just the tiniest bit of what I've seen, people are going to realize that reality is nothing like what we think it is. Absolutely nothing. That we are, in fact, in a little fishbowl, which we call the third dimension. It is a frequency that limits our ability to experience and to perceive true reality. And when this comes apart, which is coming apart, when this finally comes apart, people are going to see that we live in a holographic state where we are connected to all consciousness in the universe, that there is no separation. There is no separation between, for instance, you and all of the people that you've known who've passed away. If you know people who have died, they're still there. They're just not part of the third dimension anymore. They're still there. They still have bodies. They don't have a 3D body. They have physical bodies. They are able to communicate. They can see you. They're aware of you, but you can't see or hear them. That's just one example. Every single conscious being that's ever existed still exists. And there is no separation between humans and higher dimensional beings and non-physical beings like angels and people who have passed away and deities, gods. There's no separation between any of them. And once this portal to higher understanding is cracked open, there will never be going back. And this is the reason why the dark force elite are so frightened of your awakening. That is what has been going on since 9/11, since before that, long before that. But a big shift was 9/11, because as you know, what happened in 9/11 is that many of your freedoms were taken away in the spirit of keeping you safe. And then over the past 3 years, as you know, all the things that went on, all of the, so many more freedoms were taken away. And they're working very hard to take more of your freedoms away. The CDC, all the three-letter organizations are trying to take away more and more of your freedoms on a daily basis. And, things like what happened in Maui, that is not what it appeared to be. That's just the beginning. There's been, and the crazy weather events that we're having. Unprecedented, crazy weather events all over the world. I do not believe these are being done. That this is natural. None of this is natural. I think there's other forces at work here. And again, if you watch that press club event, you'll hear directly how these people have the ability to do unbelievable things. Like, you've probably heard me share about it, but it's good to remember. Recently, there was a comet or an asteroid whose trajectory was artificially altered by the dark force deep state. And they used technology you're not aware that they have in order to change that. And their plan was that they were going to have this asteroid skim the oceans of the Earth, which would create huge, massive tsunamis, which would wipe out billions of people. If you pay any attention to what is really going on, you're finding out that there is all kinds of really strange health issues happening to people. If you go to the doctor, I haven't been to the doctor for years, and there's a reason for that. You go to the doctor, they're trying to tell you that there's all kinds of things that you have, all kinds of diseases you have to be afraid of that you didn't need to be afraid of before. There's turbo cancers that are supposedly taking over everything, and just to let you know, Pfizer is making itself go into debt. It's a very rich company, going into debt so that it can purchase the rights to create more mRNA vaccines for cancers that didn't exist before. So you put all the pieces together and come up with your own conclusions about what all is going on. I think that this eclipse is going to reveal all of that, and I believe that there's going to be an awakening in terms of what's really going on with all this extraterrestrial stuff you're hearing about. What is really going on with all of the stuff going on with Big Pharma? What is going on with digital digital centralized banking, and the World Economic Forum's prediction that the United States will no longer be a superpower. That's just amazing that they did that. And if you look at the things that the United States are doing, the United States has been at war with Ukraine, and in case you didn't know that, Ukraine and Russia met twice. They were ready to sign an agreement to prevent going to war, and the United States came in and nixed it both times. Now at the end of this, Biden is saying, we're going to pull out of this, but we really got everything we wanted, and they're going to end up with absolutely nothing. They accomplished nothing. They've given hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine so that absolutely nothing could be accomplished. The United States is openly talking about war with China, and has pushed Russia into the arms of China, so that whatever the next war is going to be, it's going to be Russia and China against the United States and Western Europe. And these are all, when I'm bringing this to your awareness, because this will destroy the United States. Absolutely, completely destroy it. And our government is taking action to destroy the United States. And so, you know, the World Economic Forum, they're not making psychic predictions. They're telling you their plans. Their plans are to get rid of the United States as a superpower. And so you have to, and that's going to do is, that's the last thing. It's the idea of constitutional democracy that the United States signifies. It symbolizes that. I'm not saying it is that. It's not anymore. But it's still, there's that symbol is what is holding together so much of those who have a mind for freedom still in the United States. So the goal is to destroy that. And all the things that are happening with the worldwide, it's not just the United States, the worldwide immigration disaster is about wiping out any experience of uniqueness. And the attack on uniqueness is all over the place. It has to do with gender, sexuality, politics, ethnicity, and as well as national identity. This is what's being wiped out. And what's been going on since probably before I was a kid, but since I was a kid, we've all known it. That's what the hippies knew back in the 60s and the 70s. They knew that the CIA was going down and was destroying the economies and the national identities of all of the countries in Central and South America, as well as in all the third world countries in Africa and Middle East and all of that. That has been going on for I don't even know how many, since World War I. And the whole point of that was the culmination of what you're seeing now, which is you're seeing, these people who have no shortage of resources. They have no shortage of land. They have no shortage of farmland, places, all of the resources necessary to keep yourself alive and have a vibrant economy. And for whatever reason, they don't have access to their own resources. They can't make a living. And so everybody's rushing to go to Europe and the United States, and they're letting them in. And the argument is, we have to be kind to these poor, displaced people. But nobody's asking, well, how did they end up so poor and displaced? Nobody's asking that question. You're not supposed to ask that question. So the whole idea of wiping out human individuality, and this is in everything that I talked about, getting rid of turning the economy into a centralized worldwide digital economy, getting rid of any kind of national identity, getting rid of any kind of gender identity, getting rid of all of that in the name of freedom, in the name of being kind and loving, which is nonsense. In the name of all of that, we're wiping out everybody's uniqueness. And the whole point of that is so that you can be controlled. And so we could go on and on. I could say other things. I've already said way too much. But believe that this devil comet, when it comes, there's no coincidence that it's a devil comet, and then we have dual eclipses. And what is the eclipse? The eclipse is Rahu. Rahu is the closest thing you can get to the devil in Vedic astrology. And so this is really, I believe, going to be a very powerful influence of Rahu to reveal the corruption underneath. So I don't know what's going to happen. I thought I knew a while back when things were going to happen. I don't know when these things are going to happen, but if my interpretation of my most recent interactions with higher dimensional beings is accurate. I believe that this eclipse, combined with this comet, may have a powerful impact on people's psyche and awareness. What we can do now, which I believe everybody should take full responsibility for this shift. We can shift now. We don't have to wait. And I don't think that's a good idea. I have been experiencing a lot of internal resistance myself. So everything I said months back has turned out to be true in terms of the resistance, the internal psychological resistance to shifting up. And ascension symptoms, or resistance symptoms as I like to call it, needs to be understood. I don't know what your experience has been, but mine has been that oftentimes I will just be coming from all of the most reactive, fear-based responses to life. And I have to really be conscious and to, whenever it comes up, to go, this doesn't have any connection to objective reality. These feelings that are coming up, anxiety, fear, hostility, depression, there's a whole bunch of them. You're going to have whichever ones you're going to have. All of those things are our response to this higher frequency that's hitting us. As I talked about in a recent video, the Earth's magnetic field, the Schumann resonance, has been doing a lot of crazy things, and the electromagnetic field of the Earth is doing a lot of big changes. We are going through what is called an excursion event, where the electromagnetic poles of the Earth are shifting. They're not going to flip, but they're shifting around. This creates holes in the magnetosphere, which allows more solar radiation to hit the Earth. The sun itself is going through what's called a solar maximum, and it's already exceeded far beyond what the NASA said it was going to be. We've been hit with unbelievable amounts of solar radiation. Science is coming to the awareness that we're getting hit with all kinds of extremely high-powered beams of all different kinds that shouldn't be happening. There's gamma radiation coming out of the sun that shouldn't be happening, that's hitting Earth. And so all of the predictions of what the solar flash is have turned out to be true. And even though science doesn't know there's such a thing, or at least mainstream science doesn't know there's such a thing, we are getting hit by very high frequency energy particles that can't be coming from the sun. And yet the New Age crowd has been saying that what's going to happen is the galactic center is going to send high-powered gamma radiation through a wormhole to the sun, which is going to be then broadcast onto the Earth, which is going to shift it up. Of course, scientifically, that's impossible, and yet that's exactly what scientists are saying, that somehow gamma radiation from the black hole in the center of the galaxy is somehow being transmitted to Earth from the sun. How is that possible? I don't know. When you look at what's happening with the Mandela effect, you get rid of all the things that probably are people misremembering stuff, and you get to things like, Kennedy's assassination car. You get to, a bunch of other things that I won't go into that just tell you that history itself is changing. It's not being covered up, it's actually changing. The history itself is changing. Our planet has moved. I talked about all that stuff. When you look at all this stuff piling up, the evidence is overwhelming. Something's going to happen. Something is happening. So take responsibility and do the shift now. If you're new to the channel, what I need for you to do is to Of course, subscribe, like, and comment. Go to the playlist section. Click on the following playlists. Maoshan Qigong is one, Interdimensional Meditation is the second one, and 12 Steps to 5D. These 3 playlists, they're completely free to you on the YouTube channel page here. Take advantage of them. Do at least one thing from at least one of those playlists every day. It's very important that you do this every day. While you're doing that, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong at thunderwizard.com, the single most powerful energy meditative practice in history, combining Qigong, Kundalini, and the most powerful of the 3, which is the lightning center of the heart called the heart mind, or the Shin. And this is what was discovered by the Maoshan sorcerers of ancient China. To this day, I'm the only person that's publicly taught these very simple but powerful techniques that can only be found here at the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. Subscribe there. I have also uploaded guided interdimensional meditations so that you can go directly to these higher dimensional beings of light, to other dimensions, and to find out who you are. So to understand what this earth is that you live on, it is not what you think it is. It is completely, totally different from your perceptions. The best way to describe it, if I were to make a movie about it, it wouldn't be The Matrix. The Matrix is close, but it's not accurate. If I were to make a movie, it would be that the gods, the most powerful beings in the multiverse, decided that they wanted to hone their skills for creation, consciousness, and manifestation. So what they did was they created a virtual reality role-playing game. And the way the role-playing game works is that you have to take your awareness and you have to go down much lower into a very low frequency dimension, which we call the 3rd dimension. And in the 3rd dimension, you have to play a character. Now, your character is nothing like who you are. Your true essence, of course, is that you are this omnipotent, omniscient, infinite being of immense beauty and consciousness and awareness. You are, in fact, the creator gods of the universe. But in this role-playing virtual reality video game, you're an idiot. You're a 3rd dimensional idiot who can't do anything, doesn't remember who they are. You start off as this helpless little infant. And so the goal of the game is to remember your power and then download that into your avatar, and then you escape the game. This is called enlightenment. It has nothing to do with paying for your sins or what people call negative karma. People don't understand what karma is. It has nothing to do with that. It is simply a role-playing game that you chose to play, and the only way that you can win is by getting these experience points. And the experience points are when you bump up against your avatar's limitation and you choose to go beyond it. Some real simple ones. Victim mentality. So those of you who want to believe that there are false beings of light out there tricking you to reincarnate on Earth, every time that you choose to believe that, you give up experience points. Every time that you say, you know what, I am going to trust the universe to give me everything I want and need to achieve my deepest desires, you gain experience points. Every time that you act contrary to your fears, you gain experience points. Every time you treat people with kindness and love, when what you want to do is to use them, attack them, belittle them, have resentments towards them, when you act contrary to that, you gain experience points. And when the experience points stack up, then you start to gain more awareness. You start to gain more ability. But the rest of the players, the rest of the characters, can't see that in you. If they're looking for it, they might see it in you. So this is the point of this game. And what's going to happen is that the lid is going to be taken off of this game. Now here is the potential bad side of all of this. If you haven't gained experience points and you are acting contrary to the game, meaning you're indulging in your fear, you're indulging in your anger, you're indulging in your narcissism, your manipulation, if you indulge in all of that, or just the need to be accepted, this is a big one. People who gain experience points are people who follow their soul and don't need to gain acceptance from the narrative, from other people, from the world. Wanting to be loved and accepted by other people and throwing yourself away in order to be accepted, you lose experience points when you do that. You gain experience points when you say, I know this is what everybody wants me to do, but my soul is telling me something else. I'm going to do the opposite of what the narrative is telling me. You immediately gain huge experience points. So when this lid comes off of all of this, I don't know this to be true, but I think there's a very good chance that the people who have lost experience points by continuously taking actions on their lower vibrational nature, what's going to happen is they're not going to see the shift when it comes. They're going to stay in the craziness. And they're going to think everybody died or everybody disappeared. And those who gained experience points are going to shift up to a new level of the game. And in that level of the game, you have complete control over what you manifest. You have full memory of your divine essence. You're able to tap into that. You're able to continuously download more and more of your divine knowledge and essence. And then you become this God. And you can manifest whatever reality you want. That's the point of this game. So that is my experience with higher dimensional beings. My experience with higher dimensional beings is that they remember not only who they are, but they remember who you are. One of the most shocking things about working with higher dimensional beings, which by the way includes every single extraterrestrial that's coming to Earth. There are no such things as evil aliens. If there are aliens that look like reptiles, they're not evil. I don't know if such aliens exist, but they're not evil if they do. Because it's impossible to be in a higher dimension and have any of those negative, violent thoughts. And the point I'm making is that every single extraterrestrial that's coming to Earth is from a higher dimension. So there's no such thing as a war between the aliens. There's no such thing. Any of that garbage you hear like on Gaia, all the stuff that you hear on all the ancient aliens, the History Channel. I mean, it's so crazy, the History Channel talking about ancient aliens. All that stuff is nonsense. When you actually connect to these beings, your first experience of them destroys any of the fears that you have around any higher dimensional beings. And so you can either choose to be part of that or you can choose to hang on to your fear. It is completely up to you. Your third dimensional brain and your third dimensional character, which we would call your psyche, is going to work very hard to keep you from gaining experience points. It's going to talk you out of it. It's going to keep you afraid. It's going to keep you in fear, keep you in violence, keep you in resistance, keep you in depressed, keep you all in all of those mindsets. So in order to go beyond it, you have to choose. And you have to choose to take actions that go completely contrary to your fears. I'm going to use, again, something I'm seeing. I've seen it in more than one person in my life. And these are people who demand that other people come to them and give them love and attention, even though they themselves won't ask anybody for anything. They won't ask for help. They won't ask for love. They won't ask for support. And so what ends up happening is nobody knows that they want attention or want love. And so they just go around just acting like everything's fine. These people who want this love get their feelings hurt very badly. And then they explode. And then they blame everybody. They say, you didn't pay any attention to me, you don't care about me, you don't love me. And then, of course, the people who are being told this get their feelings deeply hurt. And then they get angry. And they say, I don't want anything to do with you. My God, I've been here this whole time, and you're accusing me of something I'm not doing. Get the hell away from me. And when you confront them about it, and you say, why don't you just simply ask people to give you love and attention? Their response is, I can't. And that isn't true. You have to be willing to find out what it is you say, your version of I can't. I can't ask for love. I can't take responsibility for my finances. I can't be healthy. I can't find love. Whatever the hell it is that you say you can't do. That is where you are throwing away experience points in this game. Every time you do that, you get further and further away from your awakening, from your awareness. Name one, I dare you, name one fully enlightened being who acted like a victim. Name one. You won't find them. Every single enlightened, truly enlightened being has said that they are in connection, in bliss with the universe, and everybody can have what they have. The only people who talk like that are cult leaders, narcissists, and victims. Say that they can't do anything and everybody's out to get them. The idea is that you can overcome every single obstacle, every single one. And every time that you take action in ways that you don't think you're capable of taking action, you gain huge experience points. And so this shift will be nothing to you. It will be just a normal, you'll awaken to who you are. I think there's a possibility there might be an instant awakening where people will just suddenly remember. They'll wake up from the dream and they'll go, oh my God, I've been dreaming this whole time. This is what the ETs have been trying to tell me. And I haven't achieved that level of awakening yet. I have achieved some, but I'm still struggling through it like everybody else. My 3D mind is still trying to pull me down. And so I am telling you to do what I do on a daily basis. The best way to learn how to do that is to do the 12 steps to 5D. I recommend that everybody listening to me have a teacher, a mentor, a guide. If you think you're going to be able to do it alone, then you are somebody who believes that their broken brain can think itself out of problems. Your thinking got you to where you are. Your thinking is not going to be able to solve your thinking problems. You're going to need a teacher who's going to be able to hold up the mirror so you can see where you need to change and the actions that you need to take. I've made myself available to do that. If you go here to the thunderwizard.com website, you can subscribe and become one of my apprentices and work with me anywhere from 1 to 4 times a month, depending on your subscription. You can also have one off session with me where you have an hour with me, and I will be able to point you in the right direction. That you can find if you go to career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom, purchase a session. If you want me to answer a question that you have, it's got to be a question you really truly need an answer to. Go here to askmike.thunderwizard.com. I will make a video specifically for you, and I'll put it up on the channel. And the reason for that is if you have that question and you really need it answered, other people have that question too. I've just, as I said, uploaded new guided interdimensional meditations. I believe that it's not that I believe, I know. Because every single person that I've worked with who has been doing these interdimensional meditations, every single one of them, their lives have gotten considerably better. People have differing experiences. Some people are having the same kinds of experiences I had, where their entire reality is just being demolished, and they're experiencing things they couldn't have even begun to imagine. They are being shown who they truly are, and when you see who you truly are, you're not this 3D character avatar that you've downloaded into. When you find out that you're not that is just what I said. It's an avatar. It has nothing to do with who you are. And when you find out who you truly are, it's going to absolutely blow your mind. It will be very difficult to believe. Very difficult. But the more that you choose to allow yourself to believe who you truly are when it's been shown to you, you're going to gain, millions of experience points. And your life is going to get better. Some people have really intense experiences, and other people don't have too big experiences. But when I talk to them, they're taking actions they weren't taking before. Their lives are getting better. They're becoming more aware. They're becoming more happy. Again, the three things that I tell you are the most important to look for is, are you healthier, happier, and more prosperous? Those things prove that you're on the right track. If you think you're having this awakening like a lot of people do, this is what happens with a lot of people who just do hallucinogens and they don't do any internal work. They aren't healthier, they aren't happier, they aren't more prosperous. That is how you know. If you're missing out on any of those things, then I encourage you to do the practices that we have here. And again, I make myself available to help anybody who really is truly committed to working through this and getting some help. So I'll go ahead and stop babbling now. Again, if you're going to leave a question here in the chat, more than likely, if you're not doing the practices, the daily practices, if you're not subscribed, I'm going to know it, and more than likely your question either I'm not going to find relevant, or I've already answered it. So also my books, in case you don't know, if you go to michaelwilliamdenny.com, michaelwilliamdenny, DENNEY.com. You can see all of my books. Again, if you haven't read my books and you're asking questions, it's a waste of your time and your energy. Read my books. Use this channel as a library. Go and binge watch this. Go to the playlist section and watch all the things that you can. If you want to be taught from A to Z the mastery of shamanism, go here to the 90-day challenge and start with the oldest video, which will teach you step by step how to master shamanism, energy work, meditation, ritual. We talk about astrology, all other kinds of things like that. All right, we'll leave it at that. I'll take a look and see what's on the chat, and I'll try to avoid getting myself into problems here. What else? Rainbow Orchestra. So if you want to know what kind of ET it was, again, my guess is you're new to the channel, so welcome to the channel. Go on to the playlists in my YouTube channel page and look for the playlist called Aliens. And then look for the video, or you can just type it in the search on my channel, How I Became an Extraterrestrial. You will see the visual and audio evidence, and I tell you exactly what kind of ET it was. What else? John just finished step 9. So good. All right, so I got to upload the rest of those steps. That's it. Nothing else. No questions. All right. Good deal. Congratulations, John, on working the 12 steps to 5D. Most powerful thing that you can do. And it's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. And if you want to learn how to completely shift your awareness and learn, I could say this. If you want to learn how to create a mind that knows how to look for experience points, Do the 12 steps to 5D. All right, guys, that's it. We're all done. Thank you for showing up. I wish you all the best. And again, go click on thunderwizard.com, 90-day challenge, and askmike.thunderwizard.com. Books are at michaelwilliamdenny, DENNEY.com. 923.thunderwizard.com. You should go check that out as well. I haven't talked about that lately. That's it for me today. I love you all, and my special thanks to everybody who's doing the work. Anybody who is doing the work to evolve, you are helping me to evolve. And so I thank you for that. You're not only helping me, you're helping every other conscious being in the universe, including all of the most powerful deities. Will owe you a debt of gratitude if you work on evolving yourself. That's it. I'll see you all next time. Please take very good care of yourselves.